TIFU by breaking up my almost 4-year relationship. This was not today. It was early this year. He treated me kindly. I loved his family. We had so many inside jokes. I always felt loved. So many plans and memories that made life feel wonderful. He and I met in high school and people joked about how if we broke up they didn't believe in love. He did everything for me without complaint. He drove in from college to see me every weekend because I didn't have a car. He paid for dates and presents. He was always mindful of my needs and wants. He was attentive and supported me through my depressive episodes and struggles. He was everything to me. The last year, I felt like he was changing. He was growing distant and didn't talk as much. When he did, it was about his hobbies. I grew less attracted to him because he kept going through the motions. There were other things too. But it all came to a head one night and I broke it off a week later. I have regretted it every day since. I have never felt this depressed and it's only getting worse. He said he never wanted to see me again or speak to me again. Looking back with more perspective, I wasn't a good partner. I do so many things differently. I have nightmares almost every night about how he looked when I broke us up. How his cries sounded. As time goes on, I barely remember how he looked when he smiled or how he sounded when he spoke softly to me. All I can think about is how I hurt him. It's all I can think about whenever I'm not trying to distract myself. I can't sleep without weeping. I ruined my life and hurt a person who was always there for me. I'll never see him again. The idea of that has started to make me feel suicidal. And I've started to consider it more and more every day. Life without him feels meaningless. We had so many plans and dreams together. I hate myself for not appreciating what I had. I was selfish and ungrateful. I want him to be happy. And the only reason I haven't already ended it is because I don't want to hurt my mom. Also, I'd never forgive myself if he blamed himself for it when he eventually found out. I just needed to say this somewhere. That's all. TLDR. I ended my long-term relationship and I have regretted it every day of my life since then. I have become suicidal. Edit 1. We had discussed the issues that ended up breaking us up before that week. I didn't feel like he was trying as hard as I was. But I'm sure there were instances where he could have felt the same way towards me. Either way, he deserved more from me. Please don't do anything rash. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I believe I have a decent understanding of how you feel. Not just because of your words, but because I went through something very similar. Not that long ago either. In July, my 10-year relationship ended. We were engaged. We had our future planned out. We had our names for our future children chosen. We were planning our wedding. It was I who always struggled with depression. After months of feeling unable to help me, my fiancé suggested maybe we should break up. I think she expected me to call her bluff, and that the shock of facing life without her would somehow snap me out of the depression I had been battling. I will never know the true answer. What she didn't know is that 2 days earlier I had decided I was going to break things off with her. Take a few months to get my affairs in order. Attend the 2 weddings at which I was part of the wedding party. And then once she was clear of the wreckage, and my obligations to friends were fulfilled, end my life. In the months we were apart, a close friend figured out my plan and confronted me about it. He brought me a chocolate milkshake. Sometimes it's the simplest things that bring us the comfort to move forward. And talked me out of it. Tragically, while we were apart, my fiancé fell into a deep depression. She began to understand what I'd been struggling with, but she also began to feel much like what you have described. According to her best friend, who I have spoken with since, she convinced herself that because she couldn't solve my depression for me, that she didn't deserve me. She got so in her head about this that despite my reassurances that all I wanted was for us to take space and sort out our own mental health struggles so we could reunite and build our relationship back stronger, she couldn't let go of the thought. At the end of September, 2 days after her birthday, she took her own life. She was, and is still, loved by so many people. I believe if she could have seen her own funeral and realized how loved she was, she would never have gone through with it. Don't make the same mistake she did. I am sure you are loved by many. And even if your relationship is truly beyond repair, you will find love again. The first step is to work on loving yourself first. If you need to talk, please reach out to someone. I would be happy to talk anytime if you need. Just send me a DM if you so desire. But whatever you do, don't entertain thoughts of ending your life. The world is a beautiful place. Whether you can see it right now or not, you have thousands of memories left to make. Of beauty, joy, laughter, love, friendship. Don't throw that all away. Not just for yourself, but for the many people you have yet to meet and have those joyful experiences with. I had a 4-year relationship that started in high school. I remember hearing that same phrase from our friends: if we broke up, nobody had any hope, or the like. She broke up with me after our 2nd year in college, at what was already a low point for me, and I debated driving off of the cliffs on the way home. It sent me into a tailspin, not doing much with myself, staying focused on her as much as she'd let me, trying to keep her in my life. At the least she was both kinder and crueler in spending time with me still. But when you've had someone in your life that much, for that long, it's hard to adjust to one without them in it. I've got the benefit of nearly a decade of hindsight now, and I'm convinced that it's the kindest thing she ever did for me. I'd never have ended that relationship by my own choice, mostly because it was all I knew and I assumed it would last forever. But I'm happy with the experiences I've had for having parted ways, and with who I am. It was wonderful to grow through that part of life with someone, but it was also limiting, and I'm glad that she gave me the opportunity to experience it another way. I don't think she entirely understood her reasons, and I doubt you did. But that doesn't mean they weren't valid, or that we're wrong. This part will end, as much as it sucks, though it'll be the gradual sort of uphill where you don't even notice the change in elevation, just the difficulty of it. I hope at the top, you look back on him and your time together as fondly as I do her. This was a 4-year relationship that started in high school. You are still very young. This is your first major breakup. You will feel better and so will he. You probably made the right decision, even better then than years down the line. Or never, and neither of you being happy. Dying over this breakup would be such a goddamn stupid waste. All the experiences and potential you have, all the years, love, money, etc. spent on raising you, all the pain it would cause everyone you care about and who cares about you. Talk to people you trust about how you're feeling. Go see a professional if you're not already. Focus on doing things for the future. And if you're ever actually close to hurting yourself, just drop whatever you're doing and call 911 or whatever the emergency number is where you live. People that are together in high school very rarely end up together. People change a lot from their teens to their 20s and then from their 20s to 30s. You didn't ruin your life. You're just experiencing something 99.9% of us do. Most often is the feeling of being loved you miss, not the person. It's difficult to realize now, but you will succeed better in the next relationship. Did you talk about the issues you had before breaking it off? I don't want to pry if it's something you chose to keep secret. 1 week notice? I understand he got pissed and don't want to have anything to do with you. Next time it's better to involve your partner earlier if you want to fix the relationship. Sounds like he was always there for you in the minute he had something going on. You didn't put in any work for him. The relationship involved the both of you, not just you. Honestly, in a similar situation, ATM. Lots of whiplash and pain and other emotions. If our situations are anything alike, you might just need some space for a bit. Maybe there wasn't enough space between you two in the relationship. As difficult as that is, you might both benefit. You both need some space and independence to grow. No matter what was said, it's not necessarily the end. As angry and hurt as you both are now, the intense emotions will pass, and long term you may both open up to having each other in your lives again. It will be different. Take some time and work on yourself and detach from him. Take 2 weeks or more. Don't hurt yourself and work through the emotions. Take of yourself. Focus on the next thing you need to do. Set a small achievable goal and work on it. It's going hurt like hell for a while, but it will pass. I had a GF in high school that I dated for 3 years, from when I was 15 till I was 18. We met at school. Kept it going over a long-distance relationship when she moved away for a year. Kept it going when she moved back, but ultimately it was always a doomed relationship. But at that age the love burns hot. Breakups feel devastating. Whatever happens, keep your head up. You never know what the future holds. No relationship is worth suicidal thoughts. The pain and chaos gets easier with time. You just have to weather the storm. Also, have you apologized to him and shared these feelings? He might have said he never wants to see you again. But people say mean things out of anger all the time. Breakups suck, but there are others out there. The important thing is that you have learned from what happened. It is painful, but eventually you'll feel better. It is hard to forgive yourself, but you should try. Time will lessen pain. Chances are that you will fall in love again. Hang in there. Do not give up. A lot of people here have great messages for you. Listen to them. As for me, I was in a relationship for 8 years straight out of high school. After the breakup, it hurt. It hurt a lot. But looking back, I needed that breakup. I matured so much. I learned a lot about who I was and what my strengths and shortcomings were. And if it wasn't for that breakup, I wouldn't have married my wife. If it wasn't for the lessons learned from that breakup, I wouldn't have been a person who would have been mature enough to marry the woman of my dreams. Stay strong and remember, things get better. Why don't you tell him this? Sounds like he's a smart man who realizes his own worth, saw that he was being undervalued and taken for granted, and made his exit when it was clear you weren't being a good partner. It's sad that you were so short-sighted, but this is a lesson for you. I hope he's doing well. As for you, you made this situation for yourself. I hope you feel better. And you will in time. But I can't have sympathy for a situation of your own making.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.